What's up, guys? It's Joel Puncher's Paintball. Today we are doing a gun comparison video. We've got the all brand new Planet Eclipse LV2 here. Doug, what do you got?
Versus the smashing TM40 from DLX Technologies.
And we are here to do a side-by-side comparison between the two, give you guys our opinion on which one we think wins, and just overall general features between the two. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. Follow us all over the place: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Well, I think we have a Snapchat.
We don't have a Snapchat. We could.
We do, but I actually don't
really
want to get into it. Anyways, follow us on everything. We'll see you guys after the intro.
And after the intro, when you're done watching this and you want to buy one of these bad boys, or both of them, link in the description.
God, shameless plug.
Okay, bye.
All right.
We have two industry giants here. These are two flagship markers for two extremely large companies that have been around for a while. So I think this will be an interesting comparison. I know a little more about this than I do about that, but I've been learning plenty about the LV2 over the last couple of days. So I'm excited to kind of see where we feel like these guys will stack up at the end of the video here. So first we'll talk about packaging. These usually come shrink wrapped prior to being out of the box here.
This one's gotten wet because it was in the bed of my truck and my tonneau cover didn't really work all that hot.
Nope.
So the box, cardboard sleeve. Good job, Planet, for cardboard sleeve. Not.
I do think the design of the box is
today.
interesting. Yeah, Joel is on one today.
I am on one. Needless to say, the cardboard box goes away.
Yes.
Here you go. This is what matters.
Yes.
Aluminum. And it's got some fabric on it that's probably going to get wet and dyed and all that stuff. We'll see how these handle.
I say after a year of you having that, we should do a cleaning video of dish soap, dish sponge, scrubby. Look, it's brand new. Let it dry for an hour. You're probably good to go. I think it's going to clean up.
It
fine.
could be one of those materials that doesn't stain. You know those waterproof stainless materials?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
see. Only
pour
time
some
will
paint
tell.
on it.
Yeah, maybe we'll shoot the
out.
case. We'll shoot the case.
Ooh.
That could be fun.
No. Not yet, at least.
But all right, so packaging wise, so now this bad boy, no metal covering. It's still that hard kind of carbon material, so it is still very protective, but definitely no metal covering. I don't think it's quite as attractive as this, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
But this hasn't changed in quite a while for the Luxe platform. But Joel, you forgot, they both have carrying handles.
Yes, they do.
They're equal on that front. They both have carrying handles. That's a new feature for the Planet Eclipse cases, but
yeah,
we'll open these children up.
A nice elastic. Hopefully it doesn't get worn over time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it doesn't.
This is a used gun because DLX unfortunately has no Luxes in stock right now, so we don't have any.
Everybody's getting hurt by a lot of these shipping issues that are going, a lot of the manufacturing issues and supply issues, and it's
microchip issues.
Yes.
Needless to say, this one's just about as complete as it can get. The only thing that's missing is a barrel cover. So, but needless to say,
they do come with one new.
Yes.
We do not have a new one currently, but
Correct.
we will also make sure to send this to somebody with a barrel cover in the case. So don't worry about that. But so let's start with the barrels.
Okay.
Because I feel like start with the barrels. So
well, before we get too far, overall though, I think that the Planet packaging wins on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's good. But I think that this just seems a little bit more organized. It's the first time that I would say that this wins. But the case is new for the LV2. It's different than the LV 1.6. You've got all these barrel slots here, which is nice. You've got this area for your parts. The parts kit on this is all labeled. Typical Planet. You've got a paper manual. This, you get a parts kit that's kind of a joke.
I like how it's organized, but I'm with him that I wish that there was better explanation and help for players who want to use the parts in their parts kit.
Problem is that the Luxe takes different durometer, different hardness O-rings, and unless you know specifically what you're looking for, you're eyeballing it. Which with tolerances and everything, if you don't put that specific O-ring on it, it can cause issues. So I wish that they would label everything and make it easy on us. Where Planet does do that, and Planet offers a lot of springs and extra parts and everything. So parts kit definitely wins. Lube, I mean,
there's no spring and some parts here, but yeah, lube.
Yeah.
Lube is lube. That's kind of a whatever.
Another
kind of
nice thing is
Actually, a lot of lube in this. This is quite a big container.
Yeah. Well, before I get into the barrel, let's just finish this packaging real quick.
So here's the thing. They both will have a middle section that can hold stuff. Yes. I will argue that this is the superior middle section because it seals a little better. It can actually keep stuff a little better compartmentalized. There's 3 sections here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Big one here that's sealed up with this. And you can remove it if you so choose, or you can leave it. Plus, there's another protective layer. Sorry, we'll get rid of this right here. There's another protective layer here for the gun itself to keep it all nice and pretty and pristine. I personally think it's pretty close. The only thing for me, the only 2 things I'll say, I guess, is better organization of the parts kit for the Planet One new, and there's a lot more space for more barrels. You have room for 1 extra insert in here. So
yeah. Moving on to the barrels, it's good that you cued in on that because the LV2 comes with the new S63 barrel system. It's going to come with 2 inserts, whereas your DLX TM40 only comes with 1 insert, which is a Freak XL insert. These inserts look oddly familiar to the Freak.
I'll pull that out again. So, you tell me, but possibly inspired.
Possibly. But overall, I actually like this barrel system more. I love how this thing looks.
It's very attractive.
Yes.
I will say it's very attractive. There's some customized ability with the barrel sleeve and all that. I like that they give you more barrel inserts, but I will say overall as a kit, I still think I like the Freak just because you can have your own separate carrying case for all of the sizes. And I do think that's a very efficient way to carry it around because even if you did get every single ball size, you're not fitting all of them in your case. You can fit a good amount of them.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to carry the whole spectrum with you, you're at a slight disadvantage. You're going to have to probably buy an empty Freak kit or a Freak case to put your barrels in.
5 slots. To answer that question, 5 slots for that. So you like the Freak barrel system. I like the S63
I do. I'm very familiar with the Freak. They were the first ones to do it. I really think that there's just something to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely close. Planet definitely came close to the design.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be any legal cases talking about how close they came to.
Yeah, I don't think so. From my discussions, I don't think so.
There you go.
All right, guys. So going into the guns, obviously we're comparing 2 different giants here.
Yep.
The LV2 is a Poppet valve design. The DLX is a spool valve design. So they are different from the get-go right there. I think the most notable thing between the 2 right off the bat is the size.
Yes.
There's a massive size difference. So if you're a larger player, you're probably already thinking that LV2 might be a little bit better for you. Mm-hmm. The TM40 is definitely smaller.
Yeah, which for me, the TM40 is bigger because I come from shooting a shocker for the most part, so I still see this as a big gun. Nowhere near, though, as big as that. We could even I want to do a little side-by-side. I'll put mine in front here. Try to put it flat on the platform if you want. So you can see if we get the barrels at the same kind of angle here, the LV is taller. It is literally a taller gun. Yeah, sure, longer. If I line up the 4 grips here, that is just a large piece of equipment.
It is. It is. For me, being a larger person, I do like it, but I could definitely see people that are either have smaller hands or just smaller in general, probably going to be more apt before we even get into the features.
Yep. It's definitely funny seeing, we have a player formerly with our Punishers program, Michaela. She's a small person. I've seen her shoot LVs. It's really funny seeing her run around with this gigantic gun.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Destiny will probably get LV too.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'd be curious to see what.
Oh, totally. I mean, she claps people with them, but yeah, she absolutely uses a big gun for a tiny girl. So we can move on to the next part though, if you want.
Yeah. So let's talk about ergonomics first.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So we'll talk about ergonomics. So I like. This foregrip for me fits my hand a little better. I do think it's not quite as big and beefy. However, this flat edge on this side, I know this was intentional because a lot of players, this is player input directly in the designing of the TM40. I don't love it. I'd rather it be a little more rounded, which is a nice take on the LV2. However, that's just a little fat, a little wide crossways for me, for my preference. I also like that there's grooves here for my fingers to kind of grab onto and latch onto as I want. Even if I want to hold it a little lower, there's still something to kind of dig myself into on this gun. Yeah. What do you think?
Ergonomically, that's a hard one. I'm probably going to pick the LV2. Yeah. In all honesty, I really like how it feels. I've used the TM40. This just feels really good in my hands. The trigger's not the best. I definitely like the trigger on the TM40 better. But overall, I think that they did a really good job with the ergonomics on it. It feels good. It kind of feels similar to a longer version of the CS2.
Okay.
Like the grips actually feel kind of like a CS2. So yeah, ergonomically it feels good. It also, because of the fact that it is a Poppet stack tube, like it when I pull up, my line of sight is perfect. Whereas like with my TM40, I have an ASA extender on it so that my tank sits lower so when I pull up. But overall, yeah, it feels really, really good. So
what I will say too is that as far as lining up a shot, again, I'm not a Luxe shooter. This rounded back can make it a little interesting for me to try to aim, because again, coming from a shocker, it's more of a straight, streamlined kind of gun, so I'm used to that, and that is more familiar with this. But I have very little experience shooting stack tube markers, so it's if I've ever messed around, like we did a day a couple years ago, I shot some lanes with an LV just to work on that and just feel out something new. That was weird. It took me a minute to adjust to that and like still hitting shots with it. So I would really like to hit on some of the like external features about these things, like the grips and battery changing and charging and all that, and eye covers and whatnot. So for the Luxe here, for the TM40, I know there's screws here, but it's actually like, it's the, what is it? What did you call
the snap grip?
That's a snap grip. So you don't actually need any tools to get into it. So if you want to charge your gun, this is still technically toolless, or change a battery here, also toolless. So they are equal on that plane. Also, the eye covers, both are toolless.
Yes.
So that's another very equal, comparable feature that I like. So that's, for me, that's one of the big things too that puts a gun into that kind of premium price range, is the ease and accessibility to certain things. I think that's a big one. And Joel's trying to get the grips off here. I will say these come off pretty easy. The snap grips over here, putting them back on, different story. But
so the reason I'm actually taking this off is because you have to take off the grips on the LV2. It is an extra step to get your eye covers off. Compared to the Luxe, where you just have that little latch mechanism and just pops off.
To it. But extra step, sure, but still toolless. So in my boat, that's still worth credit.
Yes.
Absolutely worth credit. And then feed neck, I think yours has definitely a taller feed neck on it.
It does. Comparable though between the two. I won't say one's better than the other. I would say, well, actually I would lie. I would probably pick the TM40.
In general, the lower profile, I would give credit to the low profile of this.
Yeah. Eye covers, I'm gonna give the eye covers to the Planet gun, because like
these can be difficult.
It can be a little difficult. Yeah,
I'm not even gonna attempt. I don't even want to attempt this.
And there's like a bunch of really tiny parts when like servicing these guns all the time. On that, there's a bunch of tiny, like there's a tiny spring, there's a tiny little latch, there's magnets and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of moving elements to that. Whereas like this, it's just like boom, latch, pull that back, and this pops off. And there's your eyes and your D10, and that's it. There's no extra like mini parts that could go wrong. So I would say overall eye covers, I do like that.
Eye covers, yes. As far as this gun is toolless disassembly for the entire gun itself. Not so much with the LV2. Plus, you still have eye wires with the LV2, so that's an added element of something that you can pinch.
Yep. To your point, trigger frame. This you're still gonna have wires, whereas this, you want to show us one of the main features of the TM40. So Doug's going to show us the Pro-Lock frame, which is...
Get this thing off.
What's that?
Sorry, I was trying to get this open. I actually have yet to ever take it apart, so this will be interesting. So you take the bolt out.
Take the bolt out.
I know how
that latch there goes up.
Right in the front, or is it here?
It's here.
It's the red. Gotcha.
Push that all the way forward.
Like this, and then underneath here, all the way...
Got
it. So all the way angled forward, and then underneath here... pulls kind of back this way. It pulls back.
Yep, and it can be kind of challenging a little bit.
And I'm sure this hasn't been taken apart a whole lot just yet, so that probably has something to do with it too when it's like a little more fresh. It is backward, right?
Let me help you here.
Toward that,
Yeah, so sometimes you gotta like clamp it tight.
Oh, interesting. Gotcha.
Boom, check that out. Completely wireless. That is definitely a super nice feature on the TM40. Your solenoid's right here. Another nice thing is that you are going to have mech capabilities with the TM40. So you can put your mech valve in there, take your solenoid out.
A mech ego, that'd be something different.
Yeah, it would be. I don't even know if it's possible, honestly.
Yeah.
But needless to say, that's just going to pop into place, and it's going to be super simple to lock that back into place.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So definitely a huge benefit feature on the TM40.
Yep.
Is that feature there, and it does have mech capabilities. So if you're a mech player, you're going to want to go with the TM40.
Yep.
So tunability, though, I would say tunability is going to definitely go with the LV2.
Yep.
Because you're going to be able to actually tell the solenoid on the forward stroke and the return stroke. You're going to be able to tell a solenoid through these two here. If you want like a snappier shot, you're going to be able to speed up the bolt, slow down the bolt, which is really nice. So you can really adjust it there. It also comes with an LPR. So take the front grip off here, and this bottom portion here is your LPR as well as your HPR assembly, so you can access all that stuff nice and easy. The TM40 does not have an LPR.
Nope.
So the fine tuning aspect, the TM40 shoots great.
It does.
But there is no
it's a lot less customizable.
Yes.
The shot is going to kind of be the shot.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But great shot though.
That's the thing. They did a really good job of just kind of knowing what the player would want.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. They went through over 100 variations. I was told by DLX 100 variations of the shot. Input from, I think it was Ryan Moorhead.
Yeah, Moorhead was huge.
Moorhead and I think Monville as well,
yep.
as far as like what they wanted. So they killed it, they killed it with the shot quality. But
right.
If you want tunability and you really want to adjust how you can.
For the tinkerers out there.
Yes.
And then would you like to talk about the OLED screens on these things?
Yeah. So the LV2 does have a new OLED screen compared to the previous generation CS2, compared to the GO4 and all that stuff. That was Hawks.
She sings at you.
Battery level.
That's when I pulled the trigger.
Firing mode. NXL.
So the Luxe is the only one that talks to you.
Yep. If you want your gun to flirt with you, you're gonna have to get a Luxe.
Also speaks in 4 different languages.
Really?
Yes. English, Spanish, German, and I want to say Russian.
Okay.
Or French. Russian or French.
Russian would make sense.
Yeah. This does not.
No, that does not talk to you. But so I do find that this screen is easy to read, easy to see, because it's backlit and has a brighter color as far as the actual content that you see. Same deal on that, which is an improvement for the LV2 over the LV1.6 and all the previous lines. It's that dark
audible noise.
Yes, that dark backlight and then a lighter kind of like text that you can read. So on that, I'd say they're pretty equal, but it is a little bigger and a little more spread out on the LV series guns.
Yeah, so. And you've got 3 buttons compared to 1, and that button over time starts to wear, whereas this one does not. So if you want to tune that, you're going to hold the trigger
and then turn it on.
Whereas this one, it's got up and down, and it's going to tell you a lot of different data. I think that the OLED on this is better.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
That's a very, very common
And the other thing, too, is, to your point, the LED, you asked about the LED earlier. The LED flashes, that doesn't, so you can't see that in direct sunlight. The LED here is so that in direct sunlight you can still get data from your gun, like is my eyes on, are my eyes off, are my eyes working, is there eye fault, all that stuff your LED is going to tell you, whereas like with the TM40 you're not, unless you've got Darlene talking to you.
Yeah, right.
Or whatever you want to call her.
Eye fault. Here, I'll turn these bad boys off. There is another point that I thought of as well here, Joel. ASAs.
Yeah. What do you think?
Lever versus pops. I call it a wash. I have no issue with the lever. I have no issue with the pops. I think they're both fine. I think people like the pops a lot. I think they think it's satisfying to turn it off. But I say it's a wash. Honestly, it is like to me it makes very little difference.
I'd still probably give it to the Planet gun, dude.
Really?
I would still probably give it to the Planet gun because it's just a little bit easier. Like my biggest thing with the lever is it gets in the freaking way. When I degas the gun, when I'm degas the gun.
Gotcha.
Like if you want to set it down like this, how are you gonna set it
My
down?
argument is, who the hell puts a gun down like this when they're not using it? Like the only time my gun is upright is if I'm using it or if it's on.
You never set your gun down upright like while you're at the paintball field?
No.
Oh, okay.
If I do, then it's on.
That's fair.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So that's to me that is a moot point. That is an argument that's. But I have heard. I won't say I've heard a lot of people say it. I've heard a lot of people around our store say that. So, maybe
it's just maybe it's just a me thing. ASA wise though, like they're both good ASAs. You're not gonna go wrong. So, what's gonna make you, Doug? Before we get into the shooting portion of this, which one are you choosing before we go out there and shoot? Which one are you choosing and why?
For me, I would choose this just because it is a simpler gun. I like things that I can just take out of the box and shoot, and I also I like that there's fewer tools still required to get into more of the maintenance on this one.
I will say taking those apart is a breeze. I would overall, dude, like between these two.
Also the trigger. I just really like the trigger.
Yeah,
but
before we make our final decision, we forgot to weigh them. We should probably weigh them. So let's weigh them real quick. But Doug chooses the TM40. Let's see here.
You're not on yet.
All right, you want to slap yours on there?
Cool. We're zeroed out right now. TM40.
1 pound, 12.8 ounces. So this one's, we already weighed this, but it came in at like 2 pounds, 1 ounce or something like that. Yeah, 2 pounds, 2 ounces.
2 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely lighter weight, definitely smaller feel, like we had kind of mentioned. So that's going to.
I will say though, as far as distribution of weight, this is way more back heavy because everything is here. Whereas with that, it's a little more balanced just because there's so much hardware kind of up in the front, in my opinion anyway. So there is good balancing on the LV2 despite being a little heavier. And again, we're splitting hairs here. These guns are really not heavy at all, but I'm a little bigger of a gun for the LV2.
Yeah, so before we go out and shoot these, I'm going to probably pick the LV2 for 2 reasons.
Okay.
And the main one being tunability is really nice, but then quality control too. Like I think like this gun is going to be a workhorse. I've used it quite a bit. I have a TM40. I love my TM40 for the most part. Quality control hasn't been an issue. I have had a recent issue where it keeps turning off on me. It's driving me nuts. And I think that it probably could be fixed. I probably haven't done my due diligence. Whereas like I know with this gun I'm probably not going to have that issue, but I do like the fact that it's all toolless. I like the fact that it's 9-volt, which is really nice because I hate rechargeable because you can't, like, you're screwed.
I do agree with you on that one entirely. I prefer 9 volts over charging batteries.
But I will say like Poppet valve I'm not crazy about, but on this gun it feels freaking
like
good.
A Spool.
Yeah. It feels so good and it shoots phenomenal. Efficiency wise though, that's gonna take it. We did an efficiency on this.
Really?
Yes.
I wasn't there for the efficiency video.
This gets 1500 off of 80. That gets like 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't realize it was that good.
So, but they're both great guns. Let's go out and shoot them so you guys can get a general feel which one you like better.
Absolutely. We'll see you at the house. All right, guys. We're back from the shop. We're here at Joel's. Time to shoot some more guns today. We have the DLX TM40 versus the Planet Eclipse LV2. This has been Joel's shooter, so it's a little dirty.
These guns are turned off, degassed, so
yeah, we're in safety mode. We're cool right now. So we're shooting GI 3-star, just like in one of our other shooting videos that we've been doing. We have the chrono right here. We're gonna get these bad boys all equaled up over here, and then we're gonna see how they shoot, see how they feel, and see which one's the superior shooter. Alrighty, guys, time to shoot. So let's get this bad boy chronoed. Ready? 285, 302, 291, 302, 301, 297. All right, I'll stick with that.
Doug fresh. All right.
Next up is the Boss.
We got the LV2, 292, 298, 292, 299. So Doug, right in that 300 range.
Yep. I'd say that's fair with me.
I'm gonna shoot my LV2 here.
All right. Go ahead there, Boss.
Just hitting that little branch right there. All right, we're gonna send it out here. So freaking accurate. So freaking accurate.
Nutty.
We're shooting 3-star. I forgot to mention, we're shooting 3-star. I've got an 8.5 board. Doug's got an 8.7 board.
Yeah, it's the 8.7.
All right, Doug, shoot that TM40.
All right. Here we go. TM40 time.
Yay!
I will say it's extremely consistent. One thing I noticed initially is that this is a lot louder.
All right, here you go. Here's the LV2.
Yeah, I gotta shoot these side by side. So I got, okay, there's that, blap, blap. LV2. My God. That's completely different.
Yeah.
It's entirely
Let me see that bad boy.
Yeah,
let's
do this.
Let me do a little side by side. I'm gonna do a little gap.
You can do some dual wielding?
Boom. 1, 2, 1.
Here, I got an idea.
Yeah. How do? TM40.
just like it's floating. Blap, blap. Shoot them dry.
Both dry.
Firing off.
I got it.
All right. Yeah, so we'll stay right here and we'll talk about both of them.
There we go. Degassed. We're good.
Degassed.
We're all good. Nothing here.
Nothing here. Guns are turned off. All right, so what'd you think?
So, listen, I really do like the TM40. It's just a very, like, it's that smooth trajectory. It's that Luxe, like that, like Spool, that flat trajectory that I'm very used to. So I did like it. I like the way it feels, the way it operates, but I don't feel that operating. That's the dangerous part. For me, that reminds me more of my amp than this thing even does, because it's just so light on everything. And they're, again, chronoed about the same. Like, for me, I wouldn't put up an argument, oh, well, of course it feels softer. It's chronoed under. That was, man. You know, I'm a DLX and Shocker
so
guy,
we talked about the features. We talked about all that stuff.
Yep.
You shot both now. You know what I'm like. I did the forefront of this video, the comparison video, with you never shooting an LV2 before.
Yep.
Now you shot the LV2. Full picture wise, which one are you choosing if you're choosing one, or is it a tie?
I might be convinced on that shot.
On the LV2.
For that shot and for all the other features it comes with, I like the good features about the TM40. I don't know if it's enough.
Okay.
Because for me, the shot and how it feels and the ergonomics, which are so much more improved,
yes,
that weighs in so much more heavily than things like a battery or like how I can take the whole gun apart or shoot it mech. I don't play mech, you know what I mean? And I don't take my full gun apart all that often. So those are a lot of, like, the way it shoots and the way it feels are just stronger factors for me. As far as these two specific markers go, LV2 might be it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's going to be some uproar in my friend groups about that. Finally choosing a PE gun.
Yeah. So both these guns come in at the same price point, first and foremost. So that's definitely a factor to consider. This is going to come with 2 inserts. It's going to come with Planet Eclipse reliability. TM40 overall has been extremely reliable. And overall ergonomically, if I had to choose one, that's going to be a really close tie for me. Because
it is close,
I do like how the TM40 feels. It's a lot thinner, but when I pull this up, it's a lot, because I'm a taller person, it's right in my line of trajectory. Whereas like with that, I've got the ASA drop down on my personal TM40.
Yep.
Shot quality of those, dude, it's hard to argue. The LV2, I think, in my opinion, shot quality is really, really good.
Yep.
This is going to win in on efficiency and features.
Yep. This is almost a full case of paint on an 80. So.
Yeah. So with that said and done, I'm probably going to also pick the LV2. It's absolutely nasty.
Yeah, dude.
But overall, I think the TM40 is extremely close between the two. I'd say it's probably the closest competitor when it comes to trying to compare something to this new marker.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm probably picking the LV2 overall too as well.
I would as well. So I mean, if you guys agree, then obviously use the link in the description of this video to make sure you can pick one up from Punishers. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment with your experience with the LV2. We'll be catching you in the next one. Thanks.
See you guys.